Okay guys, it's Tuesday and I wanted to do a mixed media 12 by 12 layout for you. And I played around with some products and it's been a while since I did an actual scrapbook layout that was primarily mixed media. And so it was kind of trial and error and looking at some of the different papers and how they handle sprays or mists or what have you. This is the new Ella and Viv Paper Company line, and it's called Watercolor Paradise number 8, and it's just a pretty blue background. And what you want to do is start with something that is, I mean, you want a little bit of color and design, but you don't want it to be heavy. And so you wouldn't want something that had a ton of design on it or elements. You just want something soft and light. So for example, let's see. For example, this would probably not be the best one, or this, because there's all this stuff that distracts from the eye. Now if it was, if this was gone, it just had this, that would be fine. But the hearts here and the polka dots, it just kind of is too much. So you want something more like this. And what I did was I primed the entire page with clear gesso. And you can use decoupage or, let's see, I'm grabbing stuff here. This is by Liquitex, and it is the clear gesso, and I just covered the entire thing with it. And it gives the paper tooth or grit so that it will hold paints and sprays and what have you. And so I pulled this picture of my lovely daughter True from last year, and this is her father, Paul. That was my first marriage. And I'm going to use colors in the photograph. I'm going to pull from them, and so I thought this blue went very well with the blue in his shirt. I originally was going to go for the browns and the reds and more of the beige neutral colors, and I didn't like it. So I changed all my colors and I pulled the blue background paper to match this. I pulled a hot pink of Lindsay Stamp Gang, and then I also pulled a purple because I thought those would go well, and I pulled a green, but I don't know why I pulled a green. I'm going to exchange that for a blue. Not real sure why I did that, but I'll be right back. I'm going to pull a blue instead. Okay guys, so I'm back, and I did find these two colors of blue that I thought went well. And this is Lindsay Stamp Gang and Delphinium Turquoise, which is one of my favorite colors. And this is a Delusions spray by Ranger, and it's called London Blue. And then the other two colors I showed you, one is Wisteria Purple Blue by Lindsay Stamp Gang, and the other is Hibiscus Rose by Lindsay Stamp Gang. And then you really only need about 3, but you can pull more if you want. Now this is a semi-opaque matte mist, and so matte, it's not going to have any shine to it, and semi-opaque means it's not transparent or translucent like this one. It's going to be heavier like this. And so I usually test them out to see if they're going to match just on a scrap piece of paper. And this is called Stormy Skies, and you can see it's very dark. I don't usually like to go black, but this is close to black, and I will just do a couple of spots at the end of that, and that is just for accent. You don't need it, you don't have to have it, but that's what it's for. And then I picked 3 of the Distress Inks by Tim Holtz by Ranger, and one is Picked Raspberry, one is Dusty Concord, and one is Broken China. And I think those 3 colors will go really well. Some other products that I pulled were some of the blending pads to to use with my stencils. And then, sorry, that was my daughter. And then I have, I also have embossing paste and gesso. Either one will work for layering and for going through stencils. The stencils that I pulled are basically these two. They're 6x6. One is the Crafters Workshop Mini Art. It just says Mini Art is. And then the other one is Crafters Workshop, and it is Mini Bricks. And I may, I don't know. I may end up not using the brick because that's when I was going to pull the beiges. Actually, I think I'm going to use this one instead because it will have that light, airy feel, and it was another one I was thinking of. So, as you can see, this is just kind of a think as you go. This is by Finnabar, and it's Prima Marketing Company, and it's their 12x12 Elementals line. And it is a stencil that is called, I do not see a name on it. Normally they have a name, but I guess this one does not since it's by Finnabar. So, as you can see, it's got various sizes of circles. So I'll use these two stencils actually. And then, let's see, you'll need a couple of paint brushes that are disposable and some small paint brushes. This is actually just maybe to drop some of the accent. This is for a little more detail if I need it. I don't necessarily need to do that either. And I did pull several embellishments, and I'm going to add some metal as well if I have room. But I haven't decided on that, and you'll see what we do with that. These are just some Prima flowers and some flowers that I've gathered over time that I can spray mist and color that way. These are some of the Prima flowers that I thought I might use, maybe some of the pink ones and possibly the black, and there's a cream I like. This is just some trim that I had in my stash, and I will use the spray ink to color that if I decide to do so. I may just keep it white now that I see it here against this. You will want some sort of, you can just use like a plastic throwaway knife if you want to, but I'm using a palette knife to spread through my stencils, and I'll show you how to use that. I also have some pearl accents that I'll do at the end, and you'll see how I use those. And then a bottle of water. You're going to want some paper towels, some wipies possibly, and you're going to need a background stamp of some kind, and I thought this would be a good one, and I'll show you how to use those. This one's also by Prima, and it is item number 551087, and it does not have a name either. So, with that being said, I guess I will get started, and as I go along, I will stop and let you see what I've done and explain some of it. So here we go. One thing I forgot to add is you are going to need like a glue gun, maybe some decoupage or multi-matte medium to hold your product, or glossy accents. I prefer decoupage or multi-matte medium because I don't like this to leave a gloss, although this holds really well and you may need it for the metal because you know, you want to be secure. You don't want anything falling off. So the stronger the adhesive, the better. And this works really well with metal. So that is a Ranger's product called Glossy Accent. I also use score tape because it is super strong. And there's also red line tape, or you know, you're just going to want some strong adhesive. So that is another tip for you. And now we'll get started. Okay, so here is some of what I did. You'll notice that I just took my distress inks and my daubers and my 2 stencils, and I just took some of the colors and randomly, without any kind of order, I put them on top of the page. And then I added a little bit of spray mist of water just to help it kind of blend. And one of the reasons I use distress ink is because you can get these pretty colors together and they're movable with water until they dry. Once they dry and they're heat set with a heating tool, they are permanent, and then you can go over them with another color. And so that's a little trick that might help you if you you know, are having trouble with colors that are mudding together, so to speak. So now I'm going to show you the spray mist. I'm going to add a few spray mists, and I'll explain that next. Okay, so here what I've done is I've basically taken the spray inks and I've just kind of poured them out or sprayed them to where they blended on top of the other colors. And because they're distress and because they're a Lindsay Stamp Gang, as long as you heat set them, they're not going to mix and make mud. And that's real important. It's vital to have a dry surface before you move on to the next color. And if you notice, it is warping some, but the easy way to fix that is just kind of work with the paper and also use your heat gun on the back side to help the paper bend in both directions and lie flatter. And so at one point this was a little dark, so I went over it with some water to tone it down, and I like that much better. So this one you can barely see, but it is there. And I didn't want it, you know, you don't want to spray so close that it looks like a halo of color. You want it to look like you just easily sprayed it on. And it is kind of like a watercolor effect. And next I will show you what I'm going to do with some of the gesso or embossing paste. You can use either one, and then I'll explain that. Okay, so you saw what I did with the embossing paste, And I'm going to let this set up and dry completely. So that usually takes between 30 minutes and an hour. It depends on how thick you placed it, but I did, if you can see here, I did do, let's see if I can get it to turn sideways. Oh, no, that's straight on. Here we go. So you can see it is raised. So it's quite thick in some areas. And that's what the gesso or the modeling paste will do. And this will set up, it's white, so it's going to set up pretty white, but it also has a little bit of transparency through it so that you can see the colors underneath. But you do want it to be nice and dry before you proceed, because otherwise it's just going to make it rinse off. So another thing I wanted to point out was when you have a stencil, you want to make sure you either dunk it in water to set, or you want to immediately clean it, because it will get messed up and you don't want to waste money on a stencil with one use. So make sure you clean those really, really good. And as soon as this dries, I'll come back and show you some more. Okay, so I let that dry, and I then did some preparation work for my background and some of the elements that I'm going to embellish with. And I also pulled some scraps, and I'm going to share that with you. This is a heavy gesso that I had out, and I basically took some wood veneer, just some wood embellishments, and some, see, it was, this is metal, and it's just a gold metal that came in a package. You can get like in the jewelry section at Michael's or what have you. There's the little, it's just like little charms and what have you. And I gessoed them. So I put a coat of gesso. Sometimes it takes 2 coats. And then while I had it out, I decided that this was going to be something that my daughter could hang up. And so I'm going to put it on a sturdy background. Plus with the metal, it's going to be a little heavy. So I just pulled some of my packaging chipboard that I had. It's just a thin packaged 12 by 12. And I gessoed around the edges so that I would have white, because I'm going to trim this down just a little, and I'm going to distress the edges, and this will give it a nice strong backing. So I will trim this down. Oh, I know what else I wanted to show you. I did pull just some scraps out of my scrap bin that I thought would go very well with this layout, and I'll just distress these and layer them, and I'll show you what I mean when I do that. This one I ran through my Vagabond with an embossing folder, and the embossing folder looked like this. It was from Hobby Lobby, and you just cut down a scrap piece of paper, you set it inside, and you run it through your die cut machine. So if you have a Cuttlebug, or like I said, I have a Vagabond. And then I'm going to show you some fun stuff you can do with this. So I will be right back. Okay, so I've trimmed my paper, and as you saw, I spray painted, or I used the spray inks to add color to the wood veneer and to the metal. And so now all of these are going to match the page perfectly, and we can add those, but we want to let them dry first. They're really, really wet. So let them dry and hold their shape. As you saw, the closer I got and the more I dipped it in, the brighter and darker the color. But when I held up the spray really high, I got a very light mist of color. So that's how you can control the dark or light aspects. I went ahead and trimmed this down, and now I'm going to probably use some of these. I've had these for a while and I don't really use them. So they do make a good way to buffer between the layers of your paper, just in case you have some, like, if you don't want to use foam tape or you have some chipboard you want to cut up, that'll work too. And I'm also going to use a little distress ink and show you how you can get some beautiful distressing with your blending tool on this. So I will also go around the edges after I distress them, but if you don't have a distressing tool, you can always use an old butter knife or something like that. And I was going to spray ink this, and I decided I was going to keep it white. I may go back and change that. I don't know. I haven't decided. But for now, in my head, it's going to stay white. And it's okay to get messy. So enjoy, and I'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see here, I did use these little pebbles, beach bubbles, to be the buffer. And I made it very dimensional doing that after I had distressed all the edges. And it made it a little bulkier than I had anticipated, so I'm not that thrilled with it, but what's done is done. I was trying to show you a way to save money by just utilizing some scraps that you might have. And it's not too bad, it's just a little thicker, but since it's going on a wall, that's not a big deal, and it's going to be secured on a heavier backing. But if this is going to go into a 12 by 12, I would suggest not making it this thick and maybe only doing like foam tape. And as you saw, I really glued it, and I really taped it down in several ways because I don't want it coming loose, and it's really secure now, so that should not be a problem. In the meantime, my little flowers have dried, and I did want to go back and do some little background stamps. I think that would look cute, and I should have done that before I put this on. I was wondering if I could take it off, but I don't think I can. But that's okay. We can add it. We can add it now. So, let's see. One more little thing I want to add there. I'm just putting down more tape to make sure it's really secure. Oop, there we go. Okay, so I'll do a little background stamping, and as I said, you may want to do this prior to putting your picture and your layers on, but I had forgot about it because I got involved with something else. So I will do that now, and that just shows you that it doesn't matter a whole lot what order you go in. But I found some stamps. I thought this little circle one or this little circle would look good. And I'm just going to randomly do this. There's no rhyme or reason. I do like these little Prima cling mount, and I'm going to show you how I use them to just not even think about it, just randomly stamp. So here we go. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of fiddling around with placement, seeing what I like and I don't like, so that I can stick it down more securely with hot glue and multi-matte medium or decoupage. If you have that, that'll work. And that's kind of what I'm doing. Typically, in order to remember how I liked it, I will use my phone and take a picture of it. And once I'm happy with the placement, I'll start gluing all of this down. So this is just a block. I used the multi-matte medium on the trim because I didn't want it to come up and I didn't want it to show through. So when this dries, it will be clear, but I had a little wonky flower there that I didn't like particularly sticking up, so I just put some weight on it, and that's what the acrylic block is there for. So I will start gluing this stuff down. I like the placement of it and I think it'll look cute, and I will chat with you when I'm done. Okay guys, so it is the next day and everything is clean and dry and all glued down, as you can see. So there is how thick it is. You don't have to do it this chunky, but since it was going on the wall, I went ahead and did it that chunky. And you can see here where the multi-matte medium dried clear, and you can't see it underneath the lace. And so I really like how that works. You don't want to use a gel. And then also here, it dried clear, so you can't see any tape or residues. So everything is set, and I'm just going to show you how I'm going to add a couple of accent things and put it on its backing, which, if you recall, is this. And I think before I do put it on this, I'm going to add just a little more of this distressing around the edges, and that way when it gets layered, it will have that distressed, shabby look. So I'm going to show you how to secure this to the back. Oop, sorry for the scratchy noise, and sorry for my voice, it's early. But I'm going to take this backing and I'm going to take some very strong tape, which at the moment score tape is my tape of choice. I use it to secure just about everything. So red line tape is a good one for this too. But I just put it every couple of inches to make sure it gets a good strong hold. I just press down. Oh, no, nothing came off. Okay, I was afraid when I pushed the tape down I might have broken something here. This would probably help. And this should just peel off, whoop, like this. I usually have to use a tool of some kind to get off. These work great for tape and like Dymo labels. I just redid my stamps. I just repackaged them the Jennifer McGuire way. And I really had a hard time getting the little Dymo labels. I guess I got a bad batch. I didn't want to come off the backing. So these little precision tweezers by Cutter Bee, they're called tweezer bees. are fabulous because they have a very sharp tip and they just work beautifully to get between the tape and the backing. So now when you go to put this down, since it is very strong tape, you want to start somewhere and go up, either up all the way down or side to side. You don't want to just plop it down because then you're going to have wrinkles since it's warped. And so I think I should have about, yeah, I have very little edge. So about right here. And you see I'm working my way down the page to make it nice and secure without looking warped anymore. There we go. It's a little crooked, but that's okay. Okay, hold on, I'm going to let my dog in. She's always deciding to do something when I'm busy. Anyway, yeah, so this makes it very secure to the backing. And that way I can just add, I'll probably, you know, date it and sign it and take a journal card and journal on it and just tape it to the back so she has that. And usually when I hang these, I'll just put like a little piece of wire or even a Coke tab from, you know, back in the day when we were little and used Coke tabs for hangers. I still do that. It's very effective. So now I'm just going to add some accent, which if you recall me using this or having this pulled, it will add some nice accent for me. So I'm just going to take the lid off. Oh, I do want to cover up my picture because I don't want ink on my picture. So I am just going to add some actually, if I want a bigger dot, and I was going to show you this, to get a bigger dot, you get a bigger brush and you dip it in, and then when you go to drop it, I just want a big drop. It may not be wet enough. There we go. Oops, that may be too big. I'm not going to worry about it though, because it's all art and it's all beautiful. I think I'm going to go back to the smaller ones. So that's a little too big for me. And that's it. I hope you got some ideas from this class, and I look forward to answering any questions. This will dry and I'll take a picture of it, and as I said, it's all very secure. So I hope you liked this layout, and you know, let me know what you think. And if you want to join my YouTube channel, I am Tuesday Hubbard on YouTube. And any thumbs up videos or, you know, subbies that I can get, I enjoy sharing, and I love art of all kinds, and I have scrapbook layouts and mixed media and card shares and things like that. And I will talk to you later. Ta-ta for now. Bye.